Thank you for joining our studio once again for our whittled down special discussion we normally call.
I don't know why you're afraid of calling this.
We normally call beer parlor discussion.
It's like the way your baby is. You don't want them to see that you're drunk.
that the beer will be dropping.
The beer will be dropping from the beer.
All right. 210 trillion naira. It sounded like fake money.
As if it doesn't exist.
As if it doesn't exist. You know, and when you hear in Nigeria about certain anomalies, certain things not agreeing, the way it sounds, the way they are not careful to see that it doesn't go into the public space, you would think that something will come out from it at the end of the day. The Senate has strongly descended on the NNPC.
If you say they are strongly descended,
yeah, verbally, you know, they have strongly,
you don't know what they are looking for.
You understand? We don't know. That's why I started from there.
I wish you made me the committee chairman.
So there are some discrepancies between the audited reports and some direct files they brought, you know, to the extent that certain retainership fees, legal fees, and all that going into over 100 billions of dollars,
103 trillion.
103 trillion. They couldn't really agree them to the audited reports. You begin to wonder if you are yet to reconcile all these figures, why will it come into the public space?
You see, that is why he said they really come heavily on them. Why jump into the public, jump into the media to announce to the whole world that 210 trillion are unaccounted for when you have not finished with your investigation? So, like he said, how I wish you made him the chairman of the committee to be the one that will preside over this 210 trillion, because they said this money, you know, cuts across from 2017 to 2023.
Yes.
So, and how much is our budget this year? It's just 13.
I'm beginning to worry.
You know, so that could go for how many years budget if it is true?
That's what I'm saying. It sounded like fake money.
So no. Whether it's true or not, sir, it's not. It is not a matter of that whether it's true or not.
Yes.
They had an audited account. There's a difference and what could not be accounted for. They are the one that hired an auditor. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Now, when they hired the auditor, this one, they could account for it. This also amount.
But you also remember they said, they gave the 11 questions to come back with answer.
Now look at what Senator Wada he was saying that what they found is mind-blogging. There are some amount you hear, you begin to see the unreasonableness of it. That retention fees alone, the money used in ensuring that you have lawyers that represent you, you know, all those
auditors
professionals, and all those professionals, are 600 billion naira.
For the period.
600 billion naira.
That for over 6 years.
Yet no contract were referenced to justify this amount. There are also legal fees with no attached details of the legal engagement that led to those costs.
I think the first one is retention. And there were no contract. So how do you get the retention from there?
So, I mean, he said it's mind-blogging.
In the legal fee, you can say, okay, maybe they are on retainership. So you already have an understanding. You have to pay whether you engage them or not.
Exactly.
But the retention, we know that when a contract is awarded and is executed, a part of the sum is retained for a period of time. So if there are no contract, where do they get the retention from?
I think he's also referring to the retainership money.
Well, you see,
I think that's also what he's referring to. That. But even as that, he's saying there are no contract.
That's what we're saying the same thing.
Now, if there are no contract to refer to, how do you now even retain? First of all, have a contract. Based on what? Now, you see, what we are saying is the fact that, first of all, like I made clear, they are the one that prepared this audited document. Am I correct?
Yeah.
It's stemmed from NNPC.
And the auditor, the higher they paid him, is part of this 600 billion.
It's part of this, exactly.
So how is it that he is paid to do a job that he didn't do properly?
Do you understand? For an organization
of
like NNPCL. I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
Before you make it and bring it into the public domain.
And they've already signed up for
see the statement from Senator Wadada.
Okay.
He said the receivable figure presented in the new document was entirely inconsistent with the audited financial statement. We found this not only ridiculous, but also deeply troubling. NNPC have this kind of money missing in quotes, and Nigerians are borrowing.
Okay, so let me ask you.
210.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, how many people have access to that audited account? How many people look at the audited account? How public is that audited account? If not that, the committee, right, for accountability brought it out and say what it is. And our worry is that they have started this talk. We don't know where it's going to end or when it will end. We will just see that it's out of the public domain and everything has settled and everybody goes their way. That means nobody ever gets to the end of the matter, you know.
You know what worries me? The amount involved. 210 trillion naira. I ask myself, how much is the budget for this country?
It's about 49 trillion before the
and
National
that is
Assembly.
the 210 trillion, triple it how many times?
54.
And we're even borrowing to finance that budget. Because Mr. President had gone to the National Assembly to ask for $2.something billion to be borrowed. So if we have 210 trillion naira elsewhere that is not being accounted for, why can't the government, with all the agencies they have in place, CPC, FCC, police, and all of it, go and after this person and recover this money?
I think we can say, let me give a preliminary credit, to Asiwaju on this case. If he will, ask, it shouldn't be him, but as it is in this case, the federal government money, so he's in charge. If they should specifically get EFCC involved. I mean, EFCC, I'm not saying they shouldn't do all that.
No, why are you giving the president credit?
I'm coming. I say I will. Okay. So I'm coming. So I'm not saying EFCC shouldn't go checking those who are spraying naira or because those are insignificant.
Chasing shadow instead of substance.
Choking those that transfer them, maybe the money their brother brought for them, the dollar their brother brought for them, changing it to naira, asking them why did they go, why did they vary the change, transfer money to their account, as if vary the change are illegal transaction in Nigeria. Leave those things.
Baseless.
All of you, all their branches in the whole Nigeria, if they focus on this and get it for
and recover the money for
in
us
the next year, so that we don't even borrow again. Nigerians will clap for them. Let them leave all these looking for traders who are struggling to survive, looking for small business owners who are struggling to pay salary to their workers, telling them who transferred this to you, who didn't transfer or no transfer. Let them leave all those things.
Okafor, you know the police in its capacity already had a financial crime unit.
Certainly.
Financial crime unit.
That's true.
Now, and they still have it till tomorrow.
Of course.
Okay.
They don't move it.
Now,
those who were advocating for the scrapping of EFCC.
Yes.
That was what they were advocating. And that's why EFCC need to do a better job and focus more.
The reason Obasanjo established EFCC.
Yeah.
Now, in establishing EFCC, I think the primary reason, I don't know the whole of the act, the act that sets
and
EFCC
it's even being amended
exactly. Now, they were supposed to look practically into political or government spendings.
Yes.
Do you understand? Government spending. And to cut down and to close the loopholes.
Prevention has always been better than cure.
Now, they don't do that. They wait for you to commit the crime first. They said, the FCC is watching you.
Why are you watching? Why are you watching?
Why don't you stop it?
Yes.
And instead of them to look at primarily the structure and bureaucratic practice of government, they now put notes into things. They did your account. They lock your account without you knowing. I mean, for what? Do you understand? There are elements involved in NNPC from 2017 till 2003. their GMDs, their EDs, they are all there. That there was a GED, or I don't know what they call them now, an MD of finance, an MD upstream. I don't know if they, I used to know their structures very well. A GED that was in charge of downstream, someone in charge of petroleum. I mean, all these monies, how did they spend in their office? How did they come about it? Now that they have balkanized it, because they tell us that they balkanized NNPC. Have we seen the balkanization of NNPC?
Who are the owners? Who are the shareholders?
Everything is still being appointed and owned by government. So who spent this money? Where was it allocated for? The retention they were talking about, there's a legal department headed by somebody. Am I correct? There's a company secretary of NNPC or NNPCL. What went into the person's hand?
I'm struggling to call it an NPCL because that L, we don't really know.
We don't know the owners. Limited by what? Are they in the Nigerian Stock Exchange?
You see, 2017 to 2023, same government that is in power, same political party that is in power, has been in power since that time. So the people that are involved, like you rightly pointed out, they are well known. It is not up to 8 years ago. So it's within the time. So why wait until you go to the public? See, this is the problem with this so-called EFCC. Like I said, they will wait. They say they are washing. No. What are they waiting for? Are they waiting to be for them to be settled?
Preventive
measures.
That's always been by...
have always been better than curative measures. Why do you wait for certain things to happen? Except your interest is not to stop crime. Except that is not your interest. If that is not your interest, then you are shortchanging the people.
It's clear. Their interest is not to stop crime. That's what they
okay, let's hope this Senate committee, rises up to the occasion the way they started. Probably they end it. And like I said, I know I was mentioning the presidency because this is a federal government money. Eventually, it's the people's money. You can't. Who appoints the head of NNPC? It's still the president. So it's their money that is actually missing in a way.
So why were you praising the federal?
Yeah,
the president?
He has to, if he can, call EFCC to come in, and put all their arsenal in place, recover this money for us, so we don't have to borrow for the next year budget.
But it's not the president that is calling for this probe now.
That's why I say if he can.
Okay.
If he can,
I think the first people
I don't try to pretend about how Nigeria works. Let's not pretend about that. This is the federal government, under the federal money missing under government, federal government coffers. Yes. The fastest person to make that thing clear is the president.
But before they took this report to, because the president is the Minister of Petroleum, I hope you know that. Before they took this audited account to the National Assembly, they must have taken it to the presidency.
That's why I'm saying he's the person to make
at the presidency, they did not cite this stupendous spending that cannot be accounted for.
Well, let's assume they didn't cite it. But now that the National Assembly has pointed it out, what he's saying mainly is that the president should take proactive action.
I'm just trying to tell him that he should not be giving credit to the president. No. Except he has been paid to do that.
Don't bother about that.
Well, okay. So don't be praising the president when he has not done anything.
I'm talking about credit should be given if he does it today.
We will give him credit.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
We will give him, but let him do it first.
That's what I'm saying.
Now that he has gone to Benue, we have given him credit.
Yes.
And he heard
you want to take credit for that one? It's all right. The time is against us. Hopefully, we'll have time tomorrow. After our news insight, probably if we can have time to do some. Beer parlor discussion and on a few topics.
I used to
beer on the table.
I used to envy this. Every morning around that zone 6, around the newspaper spot, you hear people talk, analysts, their tie and everything. They are not going to work. Their work starts here and everything. Maybe some of them will invite them to the studio to come and talk newspaper review.
That would be an interesting thing to do. It's all right. Thank you, viewers, for hanging around on a more or less serious discussion. Until next time, bye.